Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to VGU Plays Dark Souls 2 with me, Don the Expert Coles from VideoGamesUncovered.com and Jeffrey the Mage, also known as the Jeff Mage. So, leading up from the last part, we are ready to take on the Pursuer. Now, what I do here is I just put down my sign and use a war cry just to see if anyone's going to pick me up before I feel like going through. And as you can see, I've now attuned the Great Soul Arrows onto my setup, which is fantastic. So now I have over 60 normal soul arrows, and now these great soul arrows. Ah yes, the Pursuer. A deadly force indeed. His moveset can be a little bit tricky at first, but he is in fact one of the easiest bosses in the game, because his moves are incredibly predictable and incredibly easy to dodge. You won't even need to block against this guy. Rolling is your best friend here, and I'm about to demonstrate why. Okay, so I was a little bit of a doopy here by just standing still, but effectively that move right there is the ultimate move to just hit him with, because he'll charge at you, you can just roll to the right, hit him. Simple as that. And as you can see, these great soul arrows are doing 200 damage a tick, which is just nuts. If I had these bad boys against the last giant, I probably would have beaten faster. As you can see here, his moveset differs. That blue sword stab is no different from the other blue sword stab you might have seen earlier on. If you get hit by that stab, it's an unblockable, so even if you do want to block it, you can't. And it will not just will it drain a ton of your health, but it will also cause you to be cursed, which will take away a part of your max health. So be extremely careful about that move. It's easy as heck to dodge, so don't be a wazzock like I was the first time I ever played this game and the first time I ever went against the boss. And I just stood still, waiting to see what he was going to do. Just roll to the right or roll back and you'll be fine. So as you can see here, the big tactic you can just do is rolling to the right. Rolling to the right just does everything. It's incredibly easy, incredibly simple, and you can just time each and every one of his attacks perfectly. It's also key to note, by the way, I won't be picking up his sword or shield, but you can pick up. But his sword and shield are incredible. So if you do want a very good sword and shield for later on in the game, I would definitely suggest keeping a hold of his boss soul, because those weapons can be extremely handy. The Pursuer's Ultra Great Sword is possibly one of the better great swords in the game, especially early on. I've seen a lot of people especially use it for dual wielding great swords, which requires a heck of a lot of strength, but then allows you to dual wield great swords, and I've seen a lot of people do that, which is a suggestible build to go with. With the Pursuer's Great Shield, because it's a Great Shield, it instantly gives you 100% physical reduction with damage, so that's immediately worthwhile getting. But the main thing to note with the Pursuer's Great Shield is that also it has fantastic magical defenses, and pretty nice defenses against different elements. So if you want to go a more defensive route and make sure you have a really good solid shield, I would suggest the shield over the sword. Not everyone's going to be a fan of swinging around a great sword everywhere, but heck, if you are a fan of it, get the great sword, because you're not going to be disappointed. So after the boss fight, you get this little area. As you saw back there was a bird's nest, but we're not going to focus on that bird's nest for now, because that nest actually takes you to the next area that we're not actually going to see for quite a while. But if you go down here, you get the Drangleic equipment. The Drangleic sword, not a shield, might I add. Not a shield, I believe. Oh, no, I believe it doesn't also give you the shield. Never mind. But it gives you the sword, the shield, the helmet. No, it does. Yeah, it does. It basically gives you the entire Drangleic armor set, is what I'm trying to say. It's a very solid armor set, and heck, if you want to upgrade your armor all the way, that gives you some pretty badass defenses. Would I say that the Drangleic equipment is the best equipment? That's debatable. Because in all honesty, when it comes to having different equipment, it's based on what you want from a character. Do you just want to have status deep, like better resistances against certain statuses? Do you just want an armor set that makes you physically a tank? It's completely up to you. But you've also got to keep in mind your weight, which is the main concern with that set. Because early on, the weight in that is insane, so I would not suggest wearing any of that set early on, unless you are doing a strength-orientated build. Let's put it that way. So as you saw there, we went to the nest and we got picked up by a raven bird, the same one that obviously dropped off the pursuer the 2 times we've now fought him. So now we are being taken to a brand new area of the game, which is actually one of my more favoured areas of the game as well. Welcome to the Lost Bastille. Now this is a gorgeous area. Some people do like it, other people don't. I have fallen in love with this area, mainly because of the whole moonlight scenario. It's on the water. It's a prison on the water, basically. And all the enemies tie in with the whole prison scenario and feel of it all. Plus, in this area, you also meet up with the first person you can actually trade in your boss souls to get really badass boss weapons from. Which is something to definitely look forward to and look into. Too bad we're not going to be doing that for the longest time. Yay! And in all honesty, I don't think I'm getting any boss weapons on this run. Yay! Does that mean I won't be saving the NPCs? No, because I do want to save the NPCs. Because the NPC, especially in the Lost Bastille, that you can trade your boss souls in to get boss weapons, is extremely good if you want to buy extra sorceries. And even pyromancies. And we will be touching pyromancies a little bit later on. Because trust me, we're adding pyromancies onto our skill set. Oh yeah, we're going to be the ultimate mages. Sorceries, pyromancies, and miracles. Mostly concentrating on sorceries though, for the most part. Like I'll shove in a few miracles later, but we're mainly going to be concentrating on sorceries. Hence why our intelligence stat is going to be our main priority. Now is a pretty good time to explain to you guys how I'm going to be leveling Jeff for at least for the near future. With Jeff for now, I have this system made up. I'm going to level him up in attunement, not necessarily just to his cast speed, but I'm going to level him up in his attunement to get another attunement slot. When I get an attunement slot, I then stop giving him attunement and give myself 5 points in intelligence, go back to attunement, and then rinse and repeat. So effectively you're getting 5 intelligence for every attunement slot that you get. So you're buffing up the power that you're dealing at the same time that you're buffing up the amount of spells you can take into battle with you, and of course the power that those spells are going to be dealing. That's my theory coming into this, and that's what I'm planning on doing, at least for the early run. I believe I need to do this until I hit round about 50 attunement. Because once you hit around 50 attunement, you can just concentrate on intelligence getting up to the same level as your attunement, and then concentrate on faith. Because faith is going to be our next big stat to really concentrate on. And you guys might be looking at me thinking, what about vigor? What about endurance? Your vitality, man! How are you going to equip better armor? I don't need to worry about better armor just yet. Until we hit areas that have really big status relating enemies, or such as poison and curse, I'm not going to need to worry about my armor set at all at this point. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to fight this guy. We're going to sit on a bonfire, a Hyde's Tower of Flame, and when we return, we start riding towards the Dragon Rider boss. Oh, that's going to be interesting. Until then, I'll see you on the next part of VGU Plays Dark Souls 2, and I'll see you on the other side.